Hi, I'm Nick Mollé, and I'm here on Skywalk, which means I'm at the top of the canopy of the cloud forest at Monteverde, Costa Rica. Now, Monteverde is a sister city to Estes Park, Colorado. So what does that mean? Well, it means we're connected. I mean, we're really connected. You see, if I were to head up into Rocky Mountain National Park and take a left at the Continental Divide and start walking, and keep walking, and keep walking, eventually I'd end up right here in Monteverde, Costa Rica. You see that mountain range that we call the Rockies? It doesn't begin or end in Colorado. As I walk on Skywalk, one of Monteverde's astonishing attractions, I wonder, Sister City, what does that mean? As I brush the top of the cloud forest canopy, I think different. Different landscape, different biosystem, different culture. Different people? Or are we not so different? Monteverde, Costa Rica. The name is as exotic as its people. Real people, complex people, surrounded by natural wonders almost beyond description. What can we learn here? Folks here love their natural treasures and desire to share their lessons while managing a complex economy. Are the pitfalls of noble goals lurking in anticipation of any mistakes? Will the waves of similarity find the hearts of the people of Estes Park, Colorado? They found mine.
They flip it over and then they eat the other one.
It's been 50 years since President Dwight D. Eisenhower dreamt of international citizen diplomacy as a tool for world peace and cooperation. Now, over 2,200 relationships have been established around the world as part of Sister Cities International. The foresight of this dream reached the citizens of Estes Park, Colorado, and Monteverde, Costa Rica, when two mayors joined together and signed an agreement that established the two communities as sister cities, with a pledge to explore and encourage exchange programs of education, arts, culture, health, tourism, environment, and municipal development. In order to understand the mystique of Monteverde, let's look at Costa Rica, a small country in the Central Time Zone just north of Panama. With a population of 4 million, about the same as Colorado, it is the oldest and most stable democracy in Central America, with the region's strongest economy. With no standing army, it has devoted much of its limited resources to education and has the highest literacy rate in Central America. The economy, historically based on agriculture, has now been infiltrated by ecotourism. The Constitution states that every citizen has the right to a safe and healthy environment. The peaceful, relaxed lifestyle is best expressed by the national slogan, Pura Vida, pure life. Costa Rica's mountains, rising to over 12,000 feet, add diversity and drama to the two-season climate. Dry season from November to April, and wet or green season from May to October, with its typical afternoon rains. The temperature of the equal-length days and nights is determined mostly by elevation and cloud cover. In the north-central part of the country, in the Talamanca Range, the warm, moist air of the Caribbean trade winds confronts the cooler, dry Pacific air at the forested summit of the Cordillera Telerán. This shrouded section of the Continental Divide is the Monteverde Cloud Forest. At its Pacific slope edge overlooking the Gulf of Nicoya, we find about 4,000 residents in the municipality of Monteverde, formed in 2003 to include the hamlets of Monteverde, Santa Elena, and Cerro Plano. As we approach our destination, passing through dairy pastures from the north and coffee lands from the south and west, we might think that the term road may be stretched at times. Many of us eco-travelers see this as a plus. You have to want to be in Monteverde to fully appreciate and respect this place. We can take a bus from San Jose or Liberia and grab a cab to get around town. Eco-conscious folks who manage the local accommodations are genuinely helpful. The people of Monteverde love their natural treasure. Yes, it is their livelihood, but the passion goes beyond economics to an intangible, hopefully and thoughtfully understood by those of us who love our Rocky Mountains.
Thinking about Estes Park being a sister city and our feeling of it's not just a sister city, it's a sister forest as well. We're on the same mountain range. We both share the Continental Divide, and we're both on the dry side of those mountains. And it's interesting to think of this forest could almost be Estes Park if the climate were different.
Welcome to Monteverde. Para nosotros ha sido una experiencia muy importante. Hay muchas expectativas. La gente quiere conocer Estes Park. Ojalá que a futuro muchos tengan la oportunidad de visitar allá. Son comunidades con características muy similares, la gente muy amable en Monteverde, muy amable también en Estes Park, y ojalá tengamos la oportunidad de compartir muchas cosas buenas entre la gente de Monteverde y Estes Park.
When Monteverde, Costa Rica, and Estes Park, Colorado became sister cities, we formed a special bond and relationship. A bond between our communities, a bond between our people, and a bond between our cultures.
Originally settled by native Costa Ricans, affectionately known as Ticos, who were then joined by American Quakers in the 1950s and 60s, Monteverde included dairy products in its agricultural lifestyle. Committed to integrating with their predecessors, the Quakers initiated a dairy co-op to provide a market for local farmers. The Monteverde Cheese Factory functions today, providing, of course, cheese, but also milk, and thankfully ice cream for local distribution. I like the ice cream. At some point, a fascinating turn occurred. Residents began to recognize the value of conservation. Natural wonders and biodiversity could not be denied. In search of more of a balance, perceptive local leaders began to reverse deforestation by forming local conservation organizations.
We came, my wife and I, with the group to here in 1951, and we bought a chunk of forest and made us a dairy farm, and I raised 8 children, and we now are about ready to just talk about it. Over the years, the biologists came when they've discovered an endemic species of the sapo-dorado or the golden toad. My nephew was involved in that because we had a patch for development that turned out to be the unique habitat, the only habitat of the golden toad. And so that brought in some biologists from the museum to get collecting. My uncle collected fern samples for him, and they come up with, I think, 3 new species. And the community got a growing interest in the protection and the uniqueness of this cloud forest area. Yeah.
The cloud forest rapidly became the focus of scientists and naturalists around the world, and the Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve was created in 1972. Today, ecotourism has become the primary economic activity. Over 250,000 people visit here annually. An atmosphere of protection and preservation is as common in Monteverde as the perpetual mist that settles on the mountaintops.
We
Operated by the private nonprofit Tropical Science Center, Monteverde Cloud Forest Reserve is 90% virgin forest. This is impressive when you consider the history of deforestation in parts of Central America. Nearby, the Santa Elena Cloud Forest Reserve, operated by the local school, adds another 765 acres of protected land. Local guides rock in Monteverde, as the saying goes, so follow your favorite guide into a lush green garden and give in to your senses as you brush shoulders with thousands of plant species, including countless bromeliads and 420 types of orchids. Orchids and bromeliads are epiphytes, which means they're plants that live on trees in their attempt to find sunlight. They are not parasites. They live at the connection of branches or other pockets where water collects, as well as dust and nutrients. Epiphytes, treetops, and vines create a canopy which preserves the moisture within these forests. 90% of all organisms in the rainforests are found in the canopy, where sunlight is more abundant, producing leaves, fruit, and seeds for food. Over 100 species of mammals, including elusive exotics such as jaguars and ocelots, reside here. Visitors always hear and often glimpse howler monkeys in the treetops. White-faced monkeys also make their presence known. The sleepiest resident of the forest has to be the two-toed sloth. We can also find the guti and the ever-entertaining coatimundi. Guides will point out things that you would never see. For instance, some animals live their entire life in a bromeliad.
These plants have a tank in the middle, they hold the water. Some of these ones can hold more than 3 liters. So inside normally you find frogs, salamanders, spiders, beetles, and then sometimes little snakes inside. So right in this one here we have little frog. This is one of the common ding frog, one of the electrodactyl species. Frogs that show more evolution than some other ones. These frogs have the little babies inside the eggs, and they have no tadpoles. I mean, from inside the eggs, the little frog come out. So they don't need so much water for that reason. It's a good adaptation they have.
Another place to visit the dink frog and many of his relatives is the Renario, or frog pond. It features excellent interpretive displays. Snakes are seldom seen in Monteverde, and the ones that do live here are more likely to be found in the canopy. Occasionally, however, an observant guide may find one like this eyelash viper a little closer to the ground. To learn more about the reptiles from all over Costa Rica, we need to visit the Serpentario, where experts will enlighten and educate us.
They are also responsible of many accidents in Costa Rica. They are very common in the coffee plantations. If you hold any branch and you tease them or bother them, they're going to bite you, for sure.
Meanwhile, back in the forest, we're learning more about some interesting little critters.
It's one of the species of lizards that have been affected by the change of the climate. Cloud forest anoles, they have 2 skins on the body. The first one is like transparent, so the light goes through the first one, and the second skin is darker, so hit the body up. And the light stays inside, doesn't go out. And it's how they are active at nighttime or in the rain or in the clouds.
Guides like Johnny Perez have way more to offer than we can do justice to in this short documentary. Johnny grew up in this forest. His connections run deep. His is the spirit of Monteverde.
So that we see up there is a quetzal female. So she's more like gray belly and kind of green in the back. She's right on top of the tree at 12 o'clock on the tree in the back.
The crown jewel of the bird life in the cloud forest is the resplendent quetzal. Viewings are highly prized but not guaranteed. Males with their characteristic colors, long tail feathers, and unmistakable call reward persistent viewers. Females are also strikingly beautiful as they grace the eyes of the fortunate. Sharing the limelight on the must-see list is the endangered three-wattled bellbird. As with the quetzal, their biggest threat is habitat loss.
The fruiting of the different Laraceae species, or wild avocados, happens like a wave. So it starts on the Atlantic slope, comes over the continental divide, and then comes down here. And so what happens is, after the month of May, up on the higher elevations, there is no more avocado fruit. And so birds such as the bellbird and the quetzal and the black guan and these toucans have to migrate downslope to this elevation here and live here for about 3 months. And without this habitat, without Laraceae trees in this habitat, they basically won't survive.
Other contributors in this birdwatcher's paradise include the trogon, which often perches where he can greet visitors. Then there's the black-faced solitaire, known as the Squeaky gatebird. Now, one of my favorites is the long-tailed manakin, whose melodic call is actually a duet. Adding to an impressive list are the keel-billed toucan and the emerald toucanet. So with this wealth of natural blessings, the people of Monteverde are planning their future. It's in their nature. I mean, it's really in their nature. That is their future. As sure as the citizens of the Rocky Mountain town of Estes Park rely on natural wonders to preserve their livelihoods, so do the people of Monteverde. Just as the people of Estes Park rely on education to preserve and protect their future, so do the people of Monteverde. Recognizing a need for libraries, the Estes Park Sister Cities Association provides books in Spanish and bilingual to the middle school children. Travelers can bring books to the schools where the Monteverde teachers manage and catalog the effort. It is this spirit of cooperation that is the essence of the meaning of Sister Cities. This is the spirit that brings our high school students together and creates a cultural bridge of understanding and friendship.
Monteverde tiene muchas cosas que compartir. En la parte cultural es muy rica la cultura en Monteverde. La parte artística es muy buena también acá. Y también toda la parte ecológica. Monteverde Además de sus bellezas en el bosque, también es muy importante conocer la gente de Monteverde, conocer lo que Monteverde ofrece, la vida diurna y nocturna. Por eso es muy importante que todos vengan a conocer Monteverde.
When the Sister Cities was first proposed by President Eisenhower in 1956, the concept of sister cities was needed in the world at that time. In today's complex, fast-moving, smaller world, it is even more critical.
It's a pleasure for me to talk about Sister City now than I am here in Estes Park, because I listen about Estes Park in Monteverde, but now I can see that we are very nice two towns, Monteverde and Estes Park, and we have many things in common, I think so, but four in particular are arts, cultures, education, and tourism. So I think we can learn a lot about Estes Park, and probably people from Estes Park can learn about Monteverde many things, about our cloud forest, about parks, about economy, tourism economy in Costa Rica, I don't know. But I can dream with that.
Monteverde is a very special place. Ecotourism here has become the way of life. Like Estes Park, this is a community of conscientious business people, a community of dedicated naturalists, and this is a community of passionate artists. A community of the young and the young at heart. Travelers to Monteverde will find the people warm, friendly, and helpful. They will also find activities to suit their tastes, from nature walks to adventure thrills. An adaptation of locomotion used by research scientists, the Trek Zipline will give you a unique perspective of the forest canopy. You probably will not forget your ride. I know I won't. One of the most amazing achievements in the world of the Costa Rican rainforest is the BEN, which stands for Bosque Eterno de los Niños, the Children's Eternal Rainforest. A group of children from a classroom in Europe started this international children's project, which now represents 55,000 acres of protected forest. Expanding down the Atlantic slope from Monteverde and accented by the Arenal volcano to its northeast, connected to the Monteverde and Santa Elena cloud forests, the BEN is impressive in size as well as in concept. It is the hearts of concerned children that are responsible for saving this precious natural resource.
And you realize that it is important for many reasons, because it's beautiful, because it provides something for myself, because it provides something for the other species. It is important simply because it's a right for other living things to live in their natural habitat. And every day I see a new thing that makes me believe it is important and makes me excited about it. And this is why we do what we do here in Costa Rica.
A lot of us talk about saving the world's forests, and some of us do something about it. but we don't always agree on the details. But if a group of children can cut to the chase and create something of this magnitude, then perhaps we can all learn from them. So what does this mean to the citizens of Estes Park, Colorado? It means that international cooperation can make a difference. And we can share this vision with our sister city, Monteverde, Costa Rica.